Let me tell you the hard truth. Getting rich isn't complicated. People like to dress it up, make it sound like there's some hidden formula only whispered in secret rooms or written in old books. But the reality is this: wealth is brutally simple. The reason most never get it isn't because it's too complex. It's because they can't handle the brutal part. They want it to be smooth, safe, and kind. They want to dabble a little, complain a lot, and then have the world hand them riches. But that's not how it works. Machiavelli, a master at understanding power and human nature, understood something most still ignore. Money flows to those who see reality as it is, not as they wish it to be. So let's strip away the illusions. Forget the comforting slogan society feeds you. Work hard and good things will come. Or dream big and you'll succeed. Those aren't designed to help you get rich. They're designed to keep you docile, obedient, predictable. Wealth doesn't come to the dreamers who just sit around imagining it. It comes to those who play the game as it truly is. And here's the first brutal truth. Most people are poor because they're predictable. They wake up at the same time, scroll their phones, drag themselves to the same job, complain about the same things, come home, numb themselves with TV, and repeat the cycle. That routine is safe. It's comfortable. But comfort kills ambition, and comfort makes you easy to control. Ask yourself, do you think the system wants you rich? Of course not. The system wants you predictable. Predictable people can be taxed, managed, and controlled. But Machiavelli would laugh at this. He knew the real key to wealth and power. See the world clearly, without illusions. You hope your boss will notice your hard work. You hope life will be fair. You hope that if you're nice enough, good things will happen. But hope isn't strategy. What's real is this: the person who owns the system gets rich. The person who works inside the system stays poor. That's why getting rich is brutally simple. It's not luck. It's not genius. It's courage. The courage to stop playing the rules that were never designed for your success. The poor are taught rules like work hard, save, and pray. The rich follow different rules: own, control, and multiply. Think of two people. Person A works a 9-to-5 job. They save a little each month, hoping one day it adds up. Person B puts the same energy into learning, building a business, or mastering sales. 10 years later, Person A has some savings and a tired body. Person B has assets, cash flow, and freedom. Same time, same hours, completely different lives. Why? Because one played by the rules of safety and the other by the rules of power. Here's the psychology behind it. Most people fear risk more than they want success. That fear keeps them trapped. They cling to stability, not realizing stability is the biggest illusion of all. Jobs disappear, economies crash, inflation eats away savings. The so-called safe path is often the riskiest. Machiavelli would remind us, the bold inherit power, not the timid. If you want wealth, you must flip your mindset. Stop asking, what's safe? And start asking, what gives me control? Stop fearing failure and start fearing never trying. That mental shift alone can change your life. So why do most people stay broke even when they know this? Because they confuse activity with progress. They work hard, yes. They hustle, yes. But they hustle in the wrong direction. They pour energy into jobs that cap their growth, into habits that numb their drive, into relationships that drain their focus. Then they wonder why life feels stuck. Getting rich is simple because it follows a straight line. 1. Learn how money moves. 2. Position yourself where it flows. 3. Take more than you give until you gain control. 4. Protect it. 5. Multiply it. It's not rocket science, and the challenge is patience and courage. Picture money like a river. Most people stand on the bank hoping a few drops splash onto them. The rich build a pipe that channels the river into their own land. Same river, same water. But while one group waits and begs, the other group owns the flow. And this is where Machiavelli's wisdom hits hardest. He said people are driven by two forces: fear and desire. The wealthy master both. They make others fear missing out. They make others desire what they offer. That's how businesses, brands, and even influencers make fortunes. They're not selling products, they're selling desire. They're not convincing with logic, they're pulling at emotions. So don't think of wealth as piles of money. Think of it as control over desire. The man who can make people crave what he controls will always be rich. The woman who can position herself as irresistible will always hold power. But here's the warning. The brutal part isn't just building wealth, it's keeping it. As you rise, envy will rise with you. People will gossip, accuse, call you greedy or evil. That's the price of stepping out of the system. Machiavelli knew power always creates enemies. Wealth is no different. So the real question is, are you ready? Are you ready to trade comfort for control? To face fear, doubt, and criticism and still move forward? Because if you are, the path to wealth is open. It always has been. The poor live in illusion. The rich live in reality. Reality is harsh, but it's also simple. The rich aren't smarter than you. They just see the game differently. They see money as a tool, not as a reward. They see risk as an opportunity, not a threat. They see people not as co-workers or friends, but as allies, enemies, or customers. That shift in mindset is everything. Take a simple example. Look at how the average person spends money. They get paid, and the first thing they do is cover bills, entertainment, and maybe save a little if anything is left. By the end of the month, their paycheck is gone before it ever had the chance to grow. The rich flip this completely. They invest first. They put money into things that create more money. Businesses, assets, even people. Whatever's left after investments goes to bills and fun. Over time, that small shift builds a massive gap. Let's make it real. Imagine two friends, both making $3,000 a month. Friend A spends $2,500 on rent, food, and fun, saving $500 a month in a bank account. After 1 year, he has $6,000 saved. But inflation eats away at that, and his money is weaker than when he started. Friend B, on the other hand, spends only $2,000 and invests $1,000 into learning skills or building a business. After a year, his bank account might not look impressive. But now he has the ability to earn $5,000, $10,000, even $20,000 a month. 10 years later, Friend A is still stuck in the cycle. Friend B is free, wealthy, and in control. That's the brutal simplicity. Where you put your money and time today decides whether you're free or trapped tomorrow. But here's the deeper psychology. People don't actually want freedom. They say they do, but real freedom requires responsibility. Most want safety, not freedom. They want someone else, the boss, the government, the system, to take care of them. The ones who truly want wealth accept total responsibility. No excuses, no waiting, no blaming, only action. This is where Machiavelli's wisdom shines through. He said people are fickle, cowardly, and greedy. They follow the strong and trample the weak. So if you want wealth, you must project strength. You must appear to be in control, not begging for scraps. Confidence attracts money. Desperation repels it. Now let's talk tactics. If you're starting from nothing, where do you begin? The first step isn't money, it's skill. You must build a skill that creates value. Selling, writing, coding, designing, speaking, negotiating. These are weapons in the wealth game. Without them, you're unarmed. With them, you're unstoppable. Once you have a skill, you use it to create leverage. Leverage means you get more from your effort than what you put in. A job is low leverage. You trade 1 hour for 1 paycheck. A business is high leverage. 1 product, 1 video, 1 course, 1 piece of software can reach thousands or even millions. That's why the rich are obsessed with leverage. They don't want to work harder. They want to build systems that multiply their impact. The average person thinks, how can I make more per hour? The wealthy think, how can I create something that pays me forever? One mindset keeps you trapped in time. The other buys freedom. But leverage requires courage. To start a business, to invest, to scale, you must risk failure. You might look stupid. You might lose money. You might be wrong. Most people can't stomach that, so they stay safe and broke. The few who endure the pain, they end up free. Let's put this all together. Getting rich is simple because it's about playing a different game. A game where skills matter more than credentials, where control matters more than comfort, where courage matters more than fear. The rules aren't hidden. They've always been in plain sight. The only question is whether you'll play. Because if you don't, you'll follow the script. Work, pay, complain, repeat. If you do, you break free. You enter the small circle of those who own, control, and multiply. That's the circle Machiavelli would admire. The few who face reality, embrace risk, and claim power. Wealth isn't for everyone. It never has been. But for those willing to face the brutal truth, it's closer than they think. Now let's look at the battlefield moves, the strategies that separate the rich from everyone else. Because make no mistake, money is war. Not with guns and bombs, but with ideas, influence, and attention. Just like in war, those who hesitate, fear, or cling to safety are crushed. Machiavelli said, fortune favors the bold, but only when they're prepared. And in the wealth game, preparation is everything. Walk in blind, and you'll get destroyed. Walk in armed with knowledge, tactics, and discipline, and you win. Tactic 1. Own something. Don't just work for something. The poor trade time for money. The rich trade ownership for money. That's the brutal divide. If you only work, you're capped. Even if you grind 16 hours a day, there are only so many hours you can trade. But ownership is infinite. When you own a business, a product, or equity, you're no longer limited by hours. You're limited only by scale. Think of Jeff Bezos. He didn't get rich by working overtime. He got rich because he owned Amazon. Millions worked for him. Billions bought from him. His ownership multiplied his wealth beyond imagination. You don't need to build Amazon, but you do need to own something. Whether it's a business, a brand, or an asset. Tactic 2. Use people's desire. Most decisions are driven by emotion, not logic. People want to feel powerful, attractive, respected. The rich know this and use it. They sell dreams, not products. Status, not items. Think about luxury brands. A $5 shirt and a $500 shirt might come from the same factory, but people buy the $500 one because it makes them feel important. That's desire. Control desire, and you control wealth. Machiavelli said, men are driven by fear and desire. To get rich, you must master both. Make people fear missing out. Make them desire what only you can provide. That's how you flip the game. Tactic 3. Build systems, not jobs. A job pays once. A system pays forever. A system can be an online business, a sales funnel, a social media channel, a piece of real estate, or an automated process. Once built, it runs with little effort and keeps generating income. The poor think in tasks. The rich think in systems. Look at YouTubers. One video can make money for years. That's a system. Compare that to the worker who has to clock in every day to earn the same paycheck. Brutally simple, isn't it? Tactic 4. Protect and multiply. Earning money is one step. Keeping it is another. Multiplying it is the ultimate test. The poor spend what they earn. The middle class saves what they earn. The rich invest what they earn. Every dollar is a soldier. Poor people send their soldiers to the mall. The rich send theirs to the battlefield, where they return with more soldiers. That's why the rich keep getting richer. Real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property, they all serve the same purpose: multiplication. Tactic 5. Appear strong, even when you're not. Machiavelli wrote that appearances matter more than reality. In wealth, perception is power. If people see you as successful, they treat you differently. Opportunities open. Doors unlock. Think of influencers flaunting cars and watches online. Many don't even own them. But their appearance of wealth attracts real wealth. People follow, buy, invest. Machiavelli was right. Men judge by their eyes, not their minds. But here's the catch. Most people nod at these tactics, then do nothing. They say it's too hard, too risky, not for them. And in that moment, they hand the game to someone else. If you're still listening, you're different. You feel it. You know life is more than waiting for a paycheck. So let's go deeper into mindset. Because making money is hard, but keeping it? That's harder. Wealth will change you. It will change how people see you. It will attract envy, leeches, predators. If you're not ready, you'll lose it all. Machiavelli warned rulers about betrayal, conspiracies, and envy. Wealth brings the same. Fake friends appear. Family suddenly remembers you. Business partners grow greedy. If you're naive, they'll drain you dry. That's why the rich guard their money like a fortress, with contracts, lawyers, accountants, and layers of protection. They don't show weakness. Weakness invites attack. If you want to stay rich, you must think the same way. Here's another brutal truth. Wealth will test your discipline. The moment you get a taste of money, temptation will come rushing in. Flashy cars, parties, expensive toys. That's how the newly rich fall back into poverty. They mistake money for status instead of using money for power. The truly wealthy don't spend for status. They spend for strategy. They buy assets, not liabilities. They buy freedom, not approval. That's the difference between staying rich and slipping back into the trap. So what's the real end game? Why go through all the pain, the risks, the discipline, the criticism, the envy? Why fight this battle? The answer is simple: freedom. Wealth isn't about gold chains or luxury mansions. Those are side effects. True wealth is the power to control your own time, to live on your own terms, to never answer to a boss again, to travel when you want, where you want, to build something that lasts beyond your own lifetime. That's power. That's why Machiavelli's wisdom is still relevant today, because power and wealth are the same game. And the path to it is brutally simple. See the world as it is, reject the script, build skills, take risks, own assets, protect them, multiply them, project strength, and never, ever crawl back to comfort. But most people won't. They'll hear all this and go back to their routines. Scroll their phones, complain, and repeat the cycle tomorrow. That's why wealth is rare. Not because it's complicated, but because few have the stomach for the discipline. So ask yourself, what side will you be on? Will you live predictable and controlled until the system chews you up? Or will you face reality head-on, risk, build, fight, and win? Because the steps are simple, the rules are clear, and the opportunity is wide open. Pick a skill, master it, think like an owner, build leverage, embrace risk, protect your wealth, multiply it, and keep repeating. The world doesn't reward the dreamers, it rewards the doers. Every empire started with one brick. Every fortune started with one step. Don't wait. Don't scroll away. Don't say tomorrow. Tomorrow is how people stay broke forever. Start now. Build something, even if it's small. Take a risk, even if it scares you. Because comfort is the enemy of wealth, and the longer you wait, the deeper you fall into the script. Machiavelli understood it centuries ago. Fortune favors those who act. So here's the closing line I want burned into your mind. Getting rich isn't complicated. It is brutally simple. The question is, are you willing to face the brutal part?